Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Batman Begins movie Batman figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army build.
Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Batman Begins movie Batman figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini maybe I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Just a quick look at the side art. You can see a picture of Batman there. And there's the opposite side. All right, let's bust this guy up. All right, so we're taking a look at the Batman Begins. This is the Christian Bale Batman. This is the Nolan verse Batman. This is my second Batman from that universe. I also have the Dark Knight Rises Batman, which was a very frustrating figure to deal with. That was one that had universally, it seemed, everybody's figure kind of broke on the hand peg. And you know, it just wasn't the funnest figure to mess around with. The main reason why I had got that older figure was because I knew that they were going to be releasing the Batpod at some point, and that was equally as frustrating trying to get that figure onto the Batpod. It was just a lot of issues. That's kind of, I guess we can consider that early Mafex. Mafex has definitely made some strides in the right direction since then. This figure is interesting. I don't know. I have some gripes. There's some things I definitely like about it, and it looks pretty good though. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's a clean figure, but I definitely have a few gripes. But let's look at his accessories. And just to be clear, the version of the Dark Knight Rises Batman that I have was version 2.0, but both versions had issues. I forget exactly what the major issue was with the first one. It was a breakage issue. If you have that figure and you know, let me know in the comments. But it was definitely that wrist peg on the version 2.0. And as I was messing with these hands, I saw that the hands pop off pretty easy on this. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But out of the package, he comes with the two fisted hands. And let me just give you a look at the peg. The peg is rather thin, but it's pretty long. And like I said, the fist seemed to slide off there pretty easily. I haven't swapped on any of the other hands yet. I'm doing that as I do this, so let's do that and see what's up. But yeah, aside from the fist, he has these two sort of open hands, semi-open, mostly open with the finger spread. These were easy to put on, and the fit seems to be a little tighter here, so I'm not really experiencing the same issues that I experienced with the fist. So let's move on. I'm really not enjoying this swapping hands process, but I got these on, and again, these seem to be firm. At least the right one seems to be. This one seems a little loose, and I was a little wary of this peg. I'm like really being cautious with this figure right now. I do not want anything to snap on this figure. But anyway, these hands are sort of semi-open between the thumb and the pointer finger. These are the ones that you would use to have him hold his batarangs, and he's got 3 different batarangs, so I'll go through that and show you those while I have these hands on. And you know what, I lied. It's not 3 different batarangs. They're pretty much all the same design, but you do get 3 of them, and they are gold, and the paint is really nice, and they do have sort of a sharp edge, and they look really good actually. So he can hold those in a couple of different ways, no problem holding them, and like I said, they look good. And then his last set of hand are trigger finger hands, and these are actually for him to hold his grappling gun, which obviously he'll be able to hold in either hand, so I'll show that real quick. And there's that, and his right hand, and that looks good. His finger is actually in the trigger groove, and the actual grappling gun looks really good too. It's really nice paintwork on here, the gold and the silver, and the handle and everything is accented with good paintwork, so I would say that looks very nice. And there it is in his left hand, just so you can see that. No issues there. And then he also comes with this unmasked Christian Bale head, which looks pretty good. It's a little soft, but not the worst from Mafex. Mafex has definitely had some very bad head sculpts in the past, and I think this one is pretty good. I don't know if it's better than the Dark Knight Rises version, but I'll break that out shortly and compare them side by side. But the interesting thing about this head is that you can use it one of two ways. So let me show that. So you can pop off the head with the cowl and just put the unmasked head on there like this, but you should definitely be careful because it's a very tight fit as far as the neck peg going into the ball joint and the upper torso. You might want to actually heat the bottom of the neck before you put it on there so there's no issue. But again, you can put it on like this, or you can actually take this off, and this is a little interesting mechanism that they have here. But his breastplate actually is attached with magnets, and the cape, the entire cape is attached to that, and you can take that off. And then his last accessory is just the breastplate without the cape on there, and you can have him without the cape, put the head back on, put the head and neck back on, and have him in sort of a relaxed state. I like this feature. I like this a lot. I like the way that looks, and you could kind of just have him holding shop or in the back cave just kind of working on things without that entire cowl and cape on. So I thought that was a nice little touch, a nice feature. And while we got all of that off, let's just take a closer look at the deco. Everything here looks pretty clean. I think the suit is pretty accurate to the movie, and the colors here on the belt, the gold is pretty vibrant. You can see a lot of little notches and different things. You know, Batman's got all those gadgets and everything. It's clean work as far as the paint goes here. I like the little spikes on his glove, and everything looks pretty good. Like I said, the head sculpt looks a little soft, but the likeness to Christian Bale is definitely there. And going over articulation, I want to look at the articulation with the head and neck without the cape and cowl first. So his head can actually go down very far, and that looks good. The head kind of moves independently of the neck, and you know, the neck is on one ball joint, and then the head is on a ball joint on top of the neck, so you can get him to turn left and right, pivot, do a full 360. Really nice range of motion in the head as far as looking down left and right, but not the greatest going up without the cowl on. Not really a big fan of that. I think you should be able to look up more. But when you get the cowl on, this is what irks me about the figure. You have pretty much no articulation as far as looking up or down. So that grappling gun, having a grappling gun and maybe having them posed up and trying to you know, shoot the hook up on the side of a building or something like that, he can barely look up. There is no articulation here. There is no separate piece from the head and neck. This is all one piece, and you know, it really has no range of motion. You can get it to look left and right, and that's pretty much it. So that's disappointing. I don't really like that. But the shoulders are on a ball joint. They're going to come up pretty far. You can actually do a full 360. You do get an upper bicep swivel, and you actually still do get some rotation on that ball joint there too. So that's a pretty nice range of motion. You do sort of have a double jointed elbow. It's not a full double joint, but it's better than 90 degrees. You get a hinge and a swivel on the wrist, and like I said, I'm very wary of this wrist joint. I am very I gotta be cautious with that, man. I'm not liking the way that feels. But the upper torso articulation looks like that. It'll go back pretty far, not that far forward. You do get some waist articulation, which is great, and the legs will come up just about that far at the pelvis. You can actually get his legs to go out that far. They'll rotate on that ball joint, which is hidden by the pelvis, which is cool. You can see a double ball peg there, and you do get a double jointed knee. You get a nice ankle pivot and a hinge on the foot, and that's pretty much it as far as articulation. And there's a quick look at the ball peg, so you can see that's pretty small and it's pretty deep in there. And then the other thing, as far as deco, I guess you saw the belt kind of jumping around there. You can see that that's a separate part. The cape I do like. It's very long and flowy, but the ability to articulate it is only here on the excuse me, is only here on the outer rim. So there is some bendy wire in the cape, but only there. It does not go across the entire back. I do like the sort of bat symbol design across the cape. I got some lint and stuff on there, but I do like that. You can definitely get them into some jumping, descending down poses and get that cape up in the air. You know, the wire does hold pretty nicely on each end. I just kind of wish it was throughout the bottom too. I don't know how practical that would have been, but I don't know. But this is pretty good, and I do feel like the cape on the Dark Knight Rises version was pretty nice. That was actually one of the most attractive things about that figure, in my opinion. Let me break him out. There they are side by side, and you can see that original, or the version 2.0 of the Dark Knight Rises Batman with the broken wrist peg. I did kind of get a temporary repair on it that wasn't the greatest, and then I just hated the figure after that. And looking at this figure now, it definitely looks a little dated. You know, this newer version, even though it was the first version of the suit, I guess, still seems to be a better looking suit in my opinion. And just getting a closer look at this face, the verdict is still out about this one. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about this jaw, if it really looks like Christian Bale or not. But, you know, it's clean. I don't know, maybe it's just the eyes. Maybe I wish the eyes were just whited out and you couldn't see pupils. It's a close look at both faces. Both head sculpts. And there's a look at both unmasked heads. And I don't know. They both have some pros and they both have some cons. The Dark Knight Rises version looks very glossy and he looks a little sick. Looks like he's on that dope. But the other one definitely, the newer version here on the right definitely has a little more color. The flesh tone is definitely better. He looks like he's gotten over. He shook the shakes and he's doing better in this version. But I do feel like the likeness still might be a little bit better on the older version. And I think the hair is painted a little better on the older version. Maybe if you swap the hair and just kind of the thinning of his nose on this one and just that structure, that area of the face, I think it kind of looks more like Christian Bale there. But again, I feel like this newer version, he looks healthy. And just a couple quick size comparisons. We have the SH Figuarts Justice League Batman on the left, which we all know is a little short and stumpy. And then we got the Mezco Dark Knight Batman on the right. Not too many other figures from this same sort of universe to compare Batman with. I do actually have the Joker, which I could break out. But I know that in 2018, they're going to be releasing Scarecrow. And they're going to be releasing Harvey Dent, Two-Face. And I'm pretty excited about those figures, if only for one thing, the fact that they have on suits and their suited bodies, and you can kind of use them as goons with a head swap. But let me break out Joker. And there he is next to Joker. And I guess Mafex has been making the rounds to give us the villains from that universe. Didn't they do a Bane as well? Let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure they did. I think the only villain that they haven't done or that's not slated to be done is maybe Ra's al Ghul, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in the comments below if you know. But yeah, you know, side by side, I guess they look just about right. I guess Batman should be a tad bit taller than Joker. Joker looks a little more stocky than Batman in the suit, which I don't know if that should be right. So that's pretty much it. Not a bad figure at all, but nothing really crazy to write home about. The figure didn't knock my socks off, but I do think it was an improvement on the last Mafex Batman that we got from the Nolan universe, and I do like the unmasked head here. I do like the options for pairing them up with some of the villains that they're going to be putting out in 2018. And aside from my apprehension with these wrist pegs, I didn't really have any quality control issues or any paint imperfections or anything like that. So overall, it is a pretty solid figure. And yeah, that's it. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.